Alright everybody, this is the front brake and rotor change 2023 Subaru Crosstrek. This is a companion video to the other video where I did the rears. Same day, so first thing we're going to do, well, I should say if you watch that video, there's going to be some obviously overlapping steps here. So first thing, gotta get the tire off, which means I need, all right, 19 millimeter. Okay. Go. Ooh, it's getting hot. Holy moly. Okay. A little brake clean. And then caliper bolts for your front are going to be 14s, much like the rears. Should not be painfully tight. Nope. If they are, might be a problem. All right. Now the caliper bracket on the rear of the car is able to kind of sit up on the upper control arm. Not as much, more open space in here, so it's kind of hard to wedge it. So just grabbed an old piece of electrical wire. We're going to hang that up there and wiggle this guy off. There we go. Beautiful. And we're just going to hook it like so. Snug it up. There you go. All right. Now, the bracket on the fronts is a 19 and a wee bit tighter on the rears. So excuse me if I'm in the camera here for a second. Holy moly. Wee bit tighter. Just a little bit. Oh, there we go. Yeah, they're about 100 foot-pounds. Which I guess I could use an impact, I suppose. Which, if this doesn't break free, you may see me doing as I get in front of the camera here. No, they broke. So, yeah, I will be putting. I'll be putting the factory torque specs for the fronts at the end of the video. And if that is helpful to you, please like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. At this point, I'm just trying to get the top one out. Top, there we go. Not a lot of clearance on the top. All right. Pads out. Or, there we go. Let's take the whole bracket off. Pads out. The squeal, low pad wear indicator is on the bottom. The fronts have it on both pads. I think the rears only have it on one. So we're going to put the bracket down for now. Rotor should just come on off like so. Off. Grab some more brake clean. Give this a little spray and grab my rag. And just give this just a little wipe. I said in the previous video, sometimes, at least with the older cars, when rust starts to build up on these dust shields, you'll get like you'll get a raised area where the rust is, and it can cause a noise when you put brand new rotors on. Often this will just go away from driving. You won't hear it all the time, mainly when you're turning and the body weight shifts. But this car is still relatively new, so there's no problem with that. I know on my 2000 Outback and on the Forester, I think I had to cut a piece of the heat shield away just because the rust was so bad, and every time I put new rotors on, it would just scrape and scrape and scrape. So I just cut like this bottom piece out just a little bit, and that went away. All right, that's clean. We're going to hit this with, I've got some Scotch-Brite and I've got a little whizzer wheel. And the reason I do this, again, this car is newer, so it's not really an issue. But you'll get rust and other just buildup on this hub. And when you put the new rotor on, the new rotor is fresh and clean, and you want this surface and that surface to mate perfectly together. If there's stuff on here, that rotor might not sit perfect, and that could cause issues. So by taking a whizzer wheel and some Scotch-Brite and cleaning this up, you try to eliminate that. They do make I've seen an attachment that will allow you to just go right over the lug nuts and get right around it. I don't have that. I just have this. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I also go around here with a little bit of anti-seize or grease or like literally anything. Just a little bit, and I just kind of paint it on here. This is just something I learned a long time ago. And it's supposed to do two things. Number one, put the rotor back on. It stops, creates a barrier between that centering ring and the rotor, so the rotor, comes off easier. Also, when you put your wheel on, if for some reason, let's say you've got brand new wheels, or tires, and then you get them done, and they're on the car for a long time. There's a potential that you can get like a rust lip, and that will sometimes inhibit you getting a wheel off. So the wheel's on for a long time. You get a flat or something at some point, and you go side of the road, you go to get your wheel off, and it's stuck, even though all the lugs are off, and you're over there kicking it and swearing at it, trying to get it off. This mitigates that. It lessens the chance of that happening. So next, I'm gonna grab. Let's see. We're gonna grab our new rotor and get it cleaned off here. So similar to the other video, new rotors should come in a bag, and they have a coating on them to stop from getting any type of rust while they're sitting around. So you need to get that off prior to mounting them. So clean rag and just some brake clean. Give it a little spray, little wipe. All right, there we go. Flip her over. Same thing, a little spray. Oop. All right. There we go. Now the shop towels. These shop towels leave like some lint and stuff. It's not a big deal. Also, if you're one of those people that you go to take your rotor off and it won't come off, there are 2 screws here, and you can feed a bolt in there and there. You can feed bolts in. It'll push against the hub, and hopefully, maybe with a little hammering as well, the old rotor, that'll help force the old rotor off. That usually happens on rotors that have been on for a long time. When you wear them down to like nothing. Or like I said, it builds up this little rust ring. So next we're gonna prep our bracket. Here's our bracket. We're gonna pop out these old hardware pieces. I'm gonna grab my Scotch-Brite and just give this little groove here, this little mating surface, just a quick going over. Again, her car is newer, so these are in really good shape. Flip it over, same thing on brackets or calipers that have been on there for 20 years. If you're lucky enough that they last that long, this could be really grody. And what you need to do is you need to clean down in there, because when you put the new hardware in, obviously it needs to have a clean surface. It needs to sit down in there where it's supposed to. If you have a bunch of buildup, your pads aren't going to sit right. They're not going to move right, and then you're going to have problems. But yeah, a little cleaning. Now we're going to address the slide pins. So I do one at a time. They are different. First slide pin, just stabilize the boot, pull it out. So this is Never been taken apart before. The car has 60,000. So that's the grease that was on it from Subaru. Looks like orange. Not a whole lot left inside the bore. So what we're going to do is we're going to wipe it off. Okay, we're going to wipe it off like that. I'm going to grab my AGS Synth Sil Glide brake lubricant and put a little bit on here. Doesn't have to be, globbed all over it. Just coated all over. I'll put a little bit more. A little bit more. Yep. There we go. I'll wipe the end off. Come over here to my boot. Slide the pin in till it seats. I usually push it in, give it a turn or two, pull it out, make sure it moves freely. It does. And just wipe the boot down with grease that's left on my hand. Here's our second one. This one probably definitely has the rubber. There you go. Rubber collar on it. Again, oops. Again, just gonna wipe her down. Yep. Like that. Now, some people clean out the bore where this goes. And I probably will next time around. But since this is like the first go, I think it's fine. There we go. Lubed up, clean the tip off. All right. Push it in, make sure it seats. Give it a spin, push it, pull it, feels good. And then give the boot a little bit of the grease. Make sure it doesn't dry out. There we go. All done. Put that down, wipe my hands. All right, on to our new hardware. So here's the new hardware, and on the Crosstrek there are these like tension tongs. I don't know what you want to call them, which is cool and all. I will tell you, getting the pads in, because I already did the other side. You really gotta compress these quite a bit to get the new pads in, and you'll probably see me struggle with it here on the video. So, in any case, these install into these grooves here, and you just got to get it centered up. And once you got it relatively centered, push the tongs out of the way and kind of give the middle a good push, give the front a push, and everything should sit down nicely where it's supposed to, like that. Okay, yeah, if these aren't clean, like, and this doesn't seat where it needs to, it's going to be a problem. Grab my next one. Again, same deal. Line her up. All right, we'll push the tongue out of the way. Give it a push. Make sure it's centered. Yep, and seated. Yep, yep, good. There you go. Now, I got to lube this up. So, you're going to put lube, your choice of brake lube here, down in this groove. I put some on these pins, obviously. So I'm going to put 2 generous dabs, and grab my brush. Well, I would grab my brush if I knew where it was. Come on, buddy. Where is it? Yeah, gotta be kidding. Oh, there it is, right in front of my face. All right. Oh. And I just take it and we're just moving it around. Make sure everything's coated. Get it down in this. Down in here. Okay. And I will say when I did the other side, like I said, you got to really give these like a pretty good push to get the front ones in. I did have to go back, and you'll probably see me do that on this one and apply a little more after the fact. Just down like that. And let's take a look at our. So this is the sheet from the Subaru Technical Information System. So here we have our front brakes for the Crosstrek. T3, which is our bracket to the knuckle bolt. T3, we're looking at 99.6 foot-pounds. Let's call it 100. And your T2 is your caliper mounting bolts. So T2, we're at 19.9 foot-pounds. Let's call it 20. And your grease points, your pin, your boot, where the pads ride, your caliper boots, the piston for the caliper boots. I think that's it. Yeah, that looks like it. And then, if needed, T1 is your bleeder screw. T1's 5.9 or hand tight. So that's your spec sheet for that. And I will add those to the end of the video. Speaking of, we're gonna pull this guy down here and take a look at it. So move this. So this has got like a rust ring around it, and anybody, if you've ever done brakes before, these pistons get all nasty. So it's not going to be perfect, but I take some of my Scotch-Brite here, or if you had like some type of whizzer wheel that would fit in there, that would work too. And I just get the Scotch-Brite in there, push it all the way down, and just try to, there we go, just try to, twirl it around just to break up, some of the rust that's in there. It's not going to be perfect. Same thing with the other one. This might be a needless step, but that's what I usually do. Okay, give it a little shake. Yeah, and like it pours out. Okay. Oh, jeez. Wow, 60K. 60K. Okay. And then there's just, for the front, just give it a little brushing. I'm actually surprised this one's as rusty as it is. Okay. Give it a little spray with the brake clean. And then we're going to come back. Oh, need to compress them. Get this little tool at literally almost anywhere. I think you can get them at box stores and AutoZone. It's just a real simple brake caliper depressor. So, or brake piston compressor. So we're just going to spin this up. Grab our caliper. I probably should have done this earlier. Grab the caliper. Get her in there and just start winding it out. There we go. And then crank on it here. And it will push the bore back down into the piston down on the bore. There we go. Spin it out. Transfer it over to the other one. Run it the wrong way. Jeez. I've seen some of these that are like, it's got like a trigger, which is probably a little easier, but I've always used this one. All right, there we go. Pushing back down into, and there we go. I will say there are some cars, not this one, but there are some cars where, especially the rear, you cannot do it with. You need like a little special tool. Oops. Okay, grab our brush. Still got some of that synth glide on it, and we're just going to put a light coat on the boot. Just a little bit. There we go. And my arm's probably in the way, sorry, but yeah, just a little bit. All right, I'll put that back up here for right now. There we go. All right, that's done. So With that, I'm actually gonna push this back up. I'm gonna just thread thread 2 of these on here just to keep it from moving around too much. There you go. It's not gonna be perfect, but yeah, let's get our bracket back on. So let's grab our 219s, grab our bracket. All right. Try to get it lined up here. Try not to slop. Oops. Try not to slop the brake caliper grease on your rotor. You're gonna need to clean that off. We're just going hand tight here for the moment. There we go. Yeah, let me move it back. There you go. Yeah, we're just going hand tight. All right. There we go. Now we're going to grab our pads. Same deal. You got your Synth Glide or whatever you're using. And I'm going to put a couple dabs in the back of the pad. And spread this around back of the pad. Okay. And I'm going to put just a little dot up here, a little dot down there. And get this coated. There we are. Come up here. Same deal. Go. All right. Okay. So this is going to be the back one. Yeah. This is going to be the back one. So this is the one I'm going to struggle with. So I'm going to move you guys over here just a little bit. Yeah, because I'm probably going to be all up in the camera. Now the front one, same thing. Oops. Same thing. Yeah, you almost got to like push that hardware up as you're pushing it down. Like you're kind of pushing and pulling it in like 4 different directions at once. That one wasn't so bad though. But just, yep, finish that like that. Good here. Yep. Okay. Now we're gonna grab our. No, we're not. We're gonna grab our torque wrench, and we're gonna grab a 19 with an extension for my torque wrench. Turn it on, and we're just gonna set it for 100. I do believe it's as high as it goes. 100. And we're going to come in here and get these two tightened up. There we go. 1. 2. There we go. Now we're going to grab our 10s, get our bracket down here. Remember to take our little hanger. All right, and slide this on. You might have to push or move the boots, or push the slide pins in, get it seated. There we are. All right, and just again, hand tight. Might have to wiggle it around a little bit. There we go. Hand tight. All right. There we go. And then 20 foot-pounds with a 14. 20 foot-pounds. Call it 20. 20. Oh, 20. 20. Come in here. Gotta find some room. Not a lot of room. There we go. Same thing on the bottom. There we go. And then give your pedal a couple pumps and it'll re-engage the pistons. And that is it. I'll grab my hanger. So there's your front rotors and pads. Crosstrek 2023. Yeah, put the wheel back on, torque it to the specified torque, which off the top of my head I don't remember. But I will, like I said, I'll put all the Subaru factory torque specs for this particular job at the end of the video. So I hope this helped. If it did, again, like and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Cheers.